Very nice. Alright, so now this is where we left the previous tutorial. So again, I'm not really gonna go out of my way to discuss basics of technique because we're pretty much there already. So, okay, that is not right. It's the second chest, which is the destruction book. That's okay. I haven't, I didn't do a full run through, so this is gonna be part D-Rust as I go. So you walk up to the second chest, you pick up the destruction book there, and then you just, the destruction book saves you 1 bar of health, essentially. So what you're doing here is that you can, pretty much always, even as you see enemies walking and jumping onto screen, slash that chest and open it. And then you're gonna walk in between. You won't, the iframes from the destruction book won't get you all the way to the exit, so you're gonna have to use your special technique once to clear the remaining enemies to get to the door. So I'll walk through that one more time. But this movement is consistent. This will always work. You can jump to you can jump to try to pick up some of the coins to reduce lag if you'd like. So we'll save here. 26 is a pretty technical floor, and it's the first gargoyle manipulation. Which I missed the D-pad. Let's try it again. Basically, you're gonna stand at a spot on the floor, which is the trigger point for gargoyles to spawn. Right here. And if you turn around for just a moment, then they will... I always screw that up. That's okay. So I'll show you again. So there's a spot on the floor here. That is the trigger spot. It's like, so you can see the tables that I'm standing on, and it's a repeating graphic. I'm standing on the first part here. When you stand in the center of the third one, if you turn around, then the gargoyles will spawn from the ceiling in the direction you're facing. So you can manipulate them, because they are a pain in the butt to get through. They kind of move in a bit of a random pattern. But if they spawn behind you, then it doesn't really matter. So you get over here and you turn around, and then it makes them drop over here on the left instead of over on the right. I'm not sure if they spawn again. I don't think they do. So, like the counter example to that is if you get here, so they spawn in front of you, and they don't always behave that well. And plus, with the skeleton spawning behind them, it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. So this is pretty much what you're looking for. And you should be able to jump over the second skeleton all the time. He may tag along and try to cause a fuss, and, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Trying to sneak to the door there. That is really tough to do. That's a strat that I've only ever tried a little bit here and there, and I never trusted it enough to actually put it in a run. High jump here, and you can get that skeleton. And then you can just do standing slashes for those two. Very minimal time loss compared to doing a little hop slash. I actually meant to save there, but we'll do it one more time. Why not? What the hell? Just like that. It's worth standing there for half a second to manipulate them behind you. Just to the exit. Don't have to worry about anything else. Just get the heck out of there. 27 has the one validation jump in the run. Alright, we're supposed to special there. It's okay. We'll reload it. Because the chicken jump is on 27. It's a chicken, it's got 3 bars of health, or it's worth 3 bars of health. So special here, iframes gets us through there. Right here. See that chicken? 3 bars of health. Very useful. This is the validation jump for the run, because this jump is relatively tight, I would say. Where you have to convince yourself that you're not going to run off the ledge before you jump. But if you bonk your head, you're not gonna get the chicken. Let's reload it again. So start off right away. Your magic meter doesn't prime fast enough to kill this grunt in one shot. You'll notice that even with this nifty golden sword that you've got here, if you just walk up to him, he doesn't die. So that's not fast. That's not fast, that's no good. So you just walk up and special, and the iframes that you generate can help you get through the mummy section here in case you move kind of slow. Jump up there and get the chicken. And then you see this lag. We'll just use a special there because we've got plenty of health to reduce lag. Purely to reduce lag, nothing else. Oh hey Knight, how's it going? So that's all there is to that floor. And there are several floors in this run that are like that, where there's not really that much going on. You're just trying to find the smoothest possible path to navigate. And the high road is much smoother here. But again, you see lag generate when that Moe statue and those two spinning guys show up. It's no good. You don't want that. So it's worth a bar of health simply to reduce the lag there. So we'll save here. Floor 28 is one of the first pain-in-the-ass bat levels. As I mentioned before, that bats are on a global timer for the floor. There's one right there. There's another one right there. You cannot manipulate their spawns. The only thing you can do is memorize them. So this is the floor where you really start to lose. If you make a mistake, it can really screw with your timing. Oops. Like, you know, not jumping over the first jellyfish there. See, a lot of these slashes at those bats, I'm slashing before I see them because I just know they're coming. And there's nothing worth picking up on this entire floor. All you're trying to do is avoid bats. That's it. It's a bat avoidance floor. But again, because of global timers, or not global timers, but at least like, you know, floor-based timers for these bats. If you make a mistake, then you are likely going to, your timing for all of the bat spawns is going to be slightly off. Ha, beat her to the door. The door is the strongest weapon in the entire game. Kills everything. Including this green dragon up here. There's a dragon here that you don't have to fight. All I do is I pick up that magic rod, it's always in the second chest, and I head for the door. And see how the door kills him like that. That's nice. We're gonna do 28 one more time just because I forgot to save. But I wanted to show, I think there's some hidden food on 29 that's worth showing you. That slash is really tight because he just shows up right above the floating ledge there. So you may find if you don't swing right away as soon as you jump, then you may be too high. I reloaded 28 again. We'll do it again, why not? This floor was the bane of my existence for a while, so we might as well do it a whole bunch. It took a long time to get this floor right. A long, long time. We'll make sure to save state this time and not load state. Alright, so again, 29. The only thing you care about is this magic rod, and then you make for the door. Now again, I want to say, I'm pretty sure there's hidden treasure chest over here. Yeah, that thing, which is worth 3 bars of health, but you're likely going to get hit by the green dragon. It may not be worth it. It probably nets out to a little bit of extra health. And if you can use your iframes cleverly, You might be able to get all 3 bars worth of health to keep, or you may have to use a special technique to be able to iframes through him so that you can get back to the door. Like, you could use a special technique right there and walk through. It still nets you 2 bars of health. So if you're hurting for health, that could be worth it. In this case, I'm not going to take that health. I'm just going to move right along. So floor 30, there really isn't that much to it. That wizard right there, is like a 50-50 chance what he's gonna do. Sometimes he just kind of stays up at the top of the screen and doesn't dive bomb you, in which case you can literally just walk straight to the door and leave. But then the other half of the time, oh right, I didn't save after 29. The other half of the time he will dive bomb you like he did right there, and for speed it's gonna make more sense to just use a special technique to kill him and just walk to the door. So again, floor 30 is very simple. You just have 1 coin flip, and you either spend a bar of health or you don't. That's about it. So you wait, and he dive bombs, so you just use a special and keep walking. If he behaves, a behaving wizard is what I would refer to him as, and just coasts along the top, you can jump over that one little dagger ghost and just run to the exit. Alright, 31 is another bat floor, as you can see. Lots of bats. This one is pretty technical as well, and we have another gargoyle manipulation that we're gonna do. The timing here is pretty crazy. Oh, bat didn't spawn. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to run that one again. I'm going to see if we can get the bat that I planned to jump over, but isn't always there. So I walk up to this ledge and I special because I want that blue potion, get to here and turn around. There's occasionally a bat that spawns there. The timing seems to be weird. Let's do this again. That's a weird bat spawn. Not what I'm used to seeing. Yeah, I can't just run up. I usually do a special technique right there. Interesting. Okay. That is an interesting bat spawn, to say the least. And this could be the game saver kind of messing things up. There we go. I think I may just slash him, and I've just forgotten that I slash him again, so we're just walking through here slowly, because why not? So we do the manip. Ooh. I need better timing. This may be a floor where it may be worth your while to spend a few extra bars of health using your special technique on things. But that's pretty much what you're looking for. So you'll see I do that one hesitation after the gargoyles, where I walk backwards and forwards on a ledge. And that is because if I just jump from there, I end up jumping right into the next bat spawn. You want to go back and forth, give that bat a chance to spawn, and then use a high jump to jump over it. And that's a green apple. That's half a bar of health. It's not necessarily worth walking backwards for, in the interest of time. Floor 32, this is another relatively tight execution floor. So let's screw up the first jump. GG. There are bats on this floor as well. We're gonna try that again. You want to leverage your magic meter here as much as you can. So you want to swing sparingly. You don't want to just swing your sword randomly. You want to have precision strikes when needed. We were close there. But I would like to not take a hit. I would like to give an example of not taking a hit on this floor. That's brilliant. But you can see how we're doing this in such a way that we're killing groups of enemies in single strikes. The only issue I ran into was having to slash twice to kill that one grunt. Not really sure why that was happening, but I don't know if I was supposed to have picked up another magic rod. I don't think so. Swung too early. Swung too early. I want the fire from that sword to kill that second skeleton. The moment you give a skeleton a chance to act, they typically become unwieldy. Yeah, it's continuing to have that same issue with that grunt. No big deal. You could use a special technique if you have the health right there. I'm not going to, because I'm picky. Floor 33 is another wraparound stage, and you want to go left. And you want to go left because of this guy right here. This is the Capcom Shuriken. 6 bars of health. Bam. It is a Capcom staple, as I've been told. Because I did not know, and I called it out as being a strange oddity about this game. I was like, why is this Shuriken give so much health? And the people in chat were like, oh, that's a Capcom thing, dude. You should know that. Although I think they were nicer. I don't think they actually said you should know that. So doing this again. Again, it's a bit of platforming here. And then you want to get that one fully charged shot there. I believe the sapphire is always here in this chest by the door. So if you need 80,000 points to generate a fairy, by all means. I'm not going to take it, but I wanted you to know where it was. So again, left, and then they used 2 high jumps to be able to navigate over those first 2 ledges very quickly to get to the Shuriken and jump over the worm. 2 high jumps works there. So now we're at floor 34. 34 is another hidden door. This is going to be a whole bunch of junk here. You just use one special technique and kill it all. The trigger is right there on that 3rd upside down pillar. And it takes you to 36. I hope I get the gauntlet. I'm not sure. I did not get the gauntlet. I wonder if I'm too late. If the save state here at 34, if I'm always going to get the King's Crown. I'm afraid of that. That would suck. I would like to show off the gauntlet strats. That's not good. Oh well, it's frustrating. I'm pretty sure I screwed that up, but you know, whatever. So it goes. This is Hydra. Hydra behaves similarly to the Gold Dragon. With the one difference being that the Hydra has 2 heads. That was a decent fight, I will say, but again, the issue that stands there is that you lose about 20 seconds. I mean, the hitting him at melee range, toggling between a special technique and then 3 sword slashes, and a special technique and 3 sword slashes, and maximizing your iframes so that he almost can't hurt you at all, is going to be the way to go. So, just wanted to make that clear, that is what you're shooting for there. That same technique with the gauntlet kills him so much faster. So I'll check one more time to see if it still gives me the King's Crown, and then if nothing, then we'll just move on. I'll save state right here. Do one more Hydra fight. Oh, and you can't hit this fairy. You can't. The fairy just simply will not be in a position that you can get her at the right height to slash her for the apple. It's the only one that you can't get any benefit out of. So because your magic meter's already primed, we want to use it first and slash the Hydra once, and then we use the special technique. But you can see with the iframes generated by the special technique, even as the Hydra flies over us over and over again, I don't have to move. I can just, or I do want to move and try to keep a relative distance from him so that it's easy to slash him. Because if you overlap your sprites, you may just slash right through him and miss. But there's an absolute lovely benefit of being able to just use the special technique between every 3 slashes. So, and that is just, to me, that is the smoothest and safest technique to try to maintain your iframes as much as possible. So that one, floor 37, I mean, that's literally all there is to it. There's it's just those gnats, those little bugs. You want to get as far along toward the 6th treasure chest as you can, and then special. Usually it's between 5 and 6. You don't want to really run the risk of getting hit. It's a pain in the butt. You don't want a pain in the butt right now. Let's see, floor 38. Alright, I think I use a special technique there. Alright, it's this one. Oh, wow, okay, yeah. Different spawns because I kind of backpedaled a little bit. Hold on. Great music here, by the way. Yeah, so that is the technique if you're not gonna get a fairy drop right here. Would be to walk up, special this guy, and then get to that pillar, and then do a running, jumping slash there. We will take the food though, so we'll go slower. I wonder if this is going to ruin all the... Yeah, it kind of does. It's really... This is Lag City. Floor 38 is Lag City. You don't need anything from here. And it doesn't really do you much good to try to kill those things. Because when you do, if you wanted to use like a special technique or whatever... you're just going to turn them all into coins, and you're still going to have a ton of sprites on the screen. Let's go through this at normal speed. So when you get in front of this treasure chest, because that one can be a hazard sometimes, and use your magic to kill that guy. Wait, have that guy walk right up to you. Man, I want him dead. Why isn't he dying? But anytime you have a skeleton spawn in front of you, you almost want to make sure that it lands so that you can kill it. You want to be patient. minimize your slashes. So again, there are a couple sequences there where I'm killing a pair of things at a time. So we'll go through it again. Walk up, special technique, jump at that pillar and slash to keep your momentum, slash before that chest so that you don't open it in case it's a trap. Let the skeleton land so that at least you get some damage in on that grunt, although it is not killing him. I do expect that slash to kill him, which is interesting. There we go. That's what I'm expecting to happen. Maybe I was just slashing too early. Slash that guy as early as possible so that your magic meter is recharged for when you get to here. And again, you want that skeleton to land first so that the magic kills him. Fewest slashes possible. You just wanna get through this cleanly and quickly. Floor 39 is another hidden door. Right down there. You have to crouch to hit it. So let's see this again. So I do high jumps. So high jump, high jump, high jump, and then a normal jump here, because if you do a high jump, you may jump, your sword will go too high, and you won't be able to slash that bat if he happens to spawn on that side. So it's very particular, and you can spam. Bats will always die in one slash. So if you're worried about that bat, you can kind of spam your sword on this fourth jump. And then if you want to use another special technique to get to the door, just to kill all those bugs, feel free to do that as well. Floor 42, not really much to it. You'll notice that a lot of these floors don't have all that much to them. 1, 2, 3, 4... Okay. Oh, I missed that jump. Okay. Let's do it again. This one is very straightforward. This is meant to be your last opportunity to get an ally. You see these tons of cages. So we jump over that first ghost, and then we get... Then from there, after you land, after jumping over that first ghost, you count 1, 2, 3, 4 cages, and at the fourth cage you jump so that you can do a jumping slash to kill the other ghost so that it doesn't kill your momentum. So over him, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up the ledge. A lot of the treasure chests in this floor are traps. You don't want them. 43. How much health do I have? I don't have enough. Interesting. Okay, so 43 now at this point, because I spurned that fairy on 38 on Lag City, then this will be my first continue, because you can't get around this floor smoothly. You have to use special techniques for speed. You're not going to be able to kill this first guy. This guy will not die in one hit. Ever. Also, I think if you try to hit him while the ball and chain is forward, you hit the ball instead of him. So, so he needs a special, and they are just ball and chain hazards that drop. And you cannot beat the cycle on any of these. So I just use special techniques over and over again. But see, you won't be able to beat that, so you might as well continue, because you're going to want health for floor 44. And then you get the Thunder Sword, which is the last sword upgrade. If you have 7 bars of health, then you can use 7 specials all in a row to clear that whole thing out and move smoothly through. So there's a lot There's a lot going on this floor. So I run to the front end of the first treasure chest. The front end of the first treasure chest, and then do a jumping slash for speed. That doesn't seem right. And that power stone is that this item back here. This is the power stone. This is the best, the strongest thing in the game. It gives. You see, my attack is now like an orange beam instead of a blue one. That orange beam is super duper strong and it kills everything. But that power stone is not always in that chest, so you can't really count on it. But to just kind of go over what's happening here. What's happening on this floor is that you just got a ton of enemies. And again, for speed purposes, I don't want to slow down at all. And then I'm using a special technique anytime a bear appears, because I can't guarantee that I will kill a bear in one shot ever. But what I'm doing is I'm doing it before you see the bear, so you don't even see it. So let me go through this without using the special so that you can see the bear appear. So there's a bear. 4 slashes with your normal sword. And here's another bear right here. Occasionally drops a chicken. You can get lucky, but that doesn't always happen. So what I do is I special there. And then special there. Now it does, specialing those bears down means that you won't always get, well, you won't get a chicken, you'll definitely just get a coin. Hi, Falstaff. So yeah, well, essentially the way the sprite loading ends up working, I'm essentially, when you use a special technique and flash the screen like that, if you flash and then walk forward, it seems to have a length of time that it takes effect. So if you use a special and then walk to the point where something spawns and the screen is still doing that wavy thing, it'll still trigger their death animation. Like that. So again, kill something because it's on the screen, and then if you special and then walk up, there's like a half a second there that you can buy, that you just get a free kill, essentially. And that's what I'm doing, just for timing's sake. I've opted to use specials right before I would see them, rather than... that was bad. Yeah, it is pretty cool. So like as you're using, when you use the special technique, you know, hold right, maybe you'll kill something else. So, but that floor can get away from you quickly if you don't, I didn't save between, so... Yeah, it seems like it. That floor can get away from you quickly if you don't stick to an execution strategy. So it might behoove a newer runner to try using maybe an extra special technique or two, or if you just want to hang back. The problem with that floor is, and the reason specials are leveraged so heavily, is that I think you may have seen me trigger 2 different treasure chest traps. And that's one thing that has gone largely without saying throughout the run, that I pointed out a couple of treasure chests that are static items that you do want, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't. There are a lot of treasure chests that I intentionally avoid because sometimes they are traps, or all the times they are traps. And the only thing that really saves you is if as you're navigating through a floor, you're using your special technique to generate iframes, and then even if it is a trap, it won't hurt you because you're in iframes for a few seconds. So that's really what you're seeing in that floor, which I think, floor 44 in particular, special techniques as often as you care to do it. So this floor introduces the last new enemy, which is that floating skull, which is no fun. You basically need to have really good reflexes, or you need to just know they're coming. So we'll walk down here. These treasure chests, there's an apple and a hazard. Those are static. It will always be the apple and the hazard. The apple is 2 bars of health, so if you want it, feel free to take it, but just bear in mind that you don't want the other treasure chest. I just walk right past it. That first skull, I jump right at this seam, jump and slash, and then the second one, as long as you're constantly moving forward, it's really, you're going to kill a second grouping of skeletons, and then you're going to just, right after you kill the second one, you just jump and kill him too. There's a fairy egg right here, which is one of the only fairy eggs outside of a boss level. Level changes are triggered when you get to the exit door, pretty much. There is a door at the end of each floor. You get to the door and you hold up, and you go through the door, and the moment you open the door, everything on the floor dies. And that's your transition point. If you're on a boss level, after you kill a boss, the game will ask you to stand in a specific spot, and that spot will trigger a door to come out of the ground, essentially, with the exception of the last 2 bosses. Yeah, so you'll see it here on 45. So, because of the skeleton spawns here, your positioning and your timing can be really delicate in this section. So I'm gonna open this treasure chest. Wah wah. Let's try that again. So I'm gonna kill those skeletons around the fairy egg treasure chest. But I don't want to move forward past it. I want to stay, when I land on the fairy egg, I want to stay right there. Because if you take another step forward, while you're waiting for the fairy, more skeletons will spawn. Whereas if you're static, you're good. And now we're going to get some bigger, more powerful wizards with skulls around them that randomly spawn. And we're going to use a couple special techniques to clean them up. So there's one. You see all the big old coins that spawn. Now for the second batch, we turn around and pick up the coins for speed. Because amazingly enough, if you don't pick up that second set of coins, even though they're off the screen, the door animation will lag tremendously because of all the sprites you've left behind. And it's actually faster to pick up those coins and then go than it is to wait it out. So yeah, so this is the end door right here, this blue door. So you walk up to it, hit up. The moment you hit up, everything on the screen dies and the door opens and you move on to the next floor. So that is the door in question. Yeah, that's more what I'm used to, execution-wise. So one special there. One special there. Get to that treasure chest and then slash. And you can use a special technique there, or just go a little bit slower and slash them. Yeah, 50 floors in total. So we are almost there. 46. It's a lot of hidden food. So there's that hidden, whatever it is, lobster or something, above the first floating platform. And then a hidden apple on the third one, and an enemy on the second one. So this is what I typically end up doing. That's my recommendation for movement through this floor. Is you do high jumps to get to the floating platforms. You do a high jump, slash the air, wait a second. The reason you want to wait there, I've seen other people try to move a bit more fluidly through this section, but I wait for that dagger ghost to pop and then kill him, because you're gonna need to wait a second for that wizard to materialize, so that you can use a special technique to kill him, because you just don't want to bother with him at all. You really don't. It's not worth your time. So again, we go high jump and slash, get that, wait a second, special attack that guy, get that apple, and go. So you spent 1 bar on a special technique, and then you picked up 5 bars of health from the 2 items that you found in the hidden chests. There's a lot of food and a lot of points down the stretch. Okay, so 47. This is going to be your the beginning of what is essentially your permanent introduction to the Power Stone, which is the best weapon in the game, or the best item in the game, rather. Because there's a Power Stone in this first chest, and again, it turns your blue laser here, which or your blue thunder or whatever, which is kind of neat, into this like orangish reddish thunder, which will even kill bears in one shot. And that's a big deal. It's really, really strong. So I pick up the Power Stone, and then I wait for my meter to recharge again, so that I can take out that bear. We're gonna reload this again. This floor, the positioning, kind of tricky. You want to be on the left edge of the treasure chest, because what you're seeing there is that bear is swiping forward. He doesn't always, but when he does, like that wave that comes off of his paw goes a long way. Like if I jumped into it from here, it would hit me from here. Assuming he's gonna do it again. I could try to show you. He seems, yeah, it reaches. So, and he has the tendency to swipe at the beginning. So you want to wait it out. So I want to stand right here on the left edge where I know I'm far enough away. Wait for my magic meter to charge fully, because I burned my magic meter opening the treasure chest. So you get that blue and yellow circulating bar down there above your health. That's what you're waiting for here. So you pick this up, wait, and then jump and slash. I think the game saver is messing up some of the floor timing. The game saver has done wacky things in the past. Because I'm used to seeing that guy spawn back there. That is an ideal spawn right there, where the wizard did not spawn where I wanted to be. He can troll you and force you to use another special technique. He'll basically spawn right on top of you, practically. We'll see if we can get one of those examples. That's a better spawn. Yeah, that's a good spawn right there, because then we just jump right over everything, use our special technique on the bear. Or actually, we don't have to use a special technique on the bear there. We just slash the bear, because again, we've got the nifty Power Stone now, which is super strong. Here is a troll spawn, because now you can't jump through there, so you have to use a special technique, which causes a hazard, because now, down here beneath all these big coins, it's a blue potion. If you pick it up, you see your Power Stone, you see the item box in the bottom right. Power Stone's gone. So now, no more orange slash, and no more killing bears in one shot, which is no good. And that blue potion is always there, so it's a tricky little segment there. So that's a good spawn. And because we haven't slashed, we have our orange beam ready to go. And because we did a special technique to kill those wizards that were over here, our magic meter was charged, so we were again good for an orange beam on the third bear. That's the trick to this floor, it's just that there are 3 bears, and so if you hesitate for just a moment, you jerk. Hesitation is tricky, because the whole thing is you want to make sure you don't, if you get trolled by the wizard and have to use a special technique, that you don't pick up the blue potion, and that you also don't get trolled by the next ghost global timer spawn. So I want to get trolled by the wizard one more time. That's not a troll. Oh, I didn't kill the dogs. I want that slash to kill all the dogs. I must have slashed too soon. just playing into some of the tight timing that I probably take for granted. Oh, interesting. That orange beam either didn't kill the bear, or it may not have been the beam because it might have been my sword. I was too close to the bear, so I actually struck him with a melee attack instead of the magic attack. That's the thing, you spend the first however many floors in this game getting, it's so weird that that third dog is not spawning. You spend the first, like, 40-odd floors of the game getting in everybody's grill because you want to be in melee range. That's better. You see the lag that we generated by leaving all that other junk behind. So obviously you lose a little bit of time with trolls for a couple of reasons there. Because A, you have to burn specials, which wastes time because you're not moving forward. And B, it wastes time because the coins and whatnot that have spawned from you killing the things makes everything go slow. So 48 is your last health refill opportunity. There's a bear that's too close to you, you just want to kill it with a special. Here's another validation jump right here. You can make this jump up top. It's just like the chicken jump on 27, although I think you have to use a high jump here. But you can get there. Okay, so, things to know about floor 48. Floor 48 has 3 pickups that are worth health. 2 of them are on the top route, one of them's on the bottom route. And the 2 better ones are on the top route, although one of them is basically the same as the bottom. So, again, first thing, this chest right here has a shuriken in it. 6 bars, good stuff. And hidden in the fire down here is a star, which you don't see anywhere else. I believe it gives you 4 bars of health, but you have to spend 1 bar to get iframes to go into the fire to get it. So it's worth 3. If you really need it, you can get it. If not, if the 6 isn't enough for you. See, special to get that star. And that's, I think it nets you 3 bars of health. So then if you want to come down to the bottom path as well, the 3rd chest has a chicken in it. So you can get 12 bars of health on this floor alone if you want to go and take your time. I typically just do, if I'm going for speed, I only grab the shuriken. Because you can kind of catch it along the way, you just have to make 1 small hesitation and that's it. But it's good to know the other ones are there. I think I normally jump that guy. So this next sequence here, there's a lot of jump slashing for little bits of speed, but you can efficiently kill some of these enemies without using special techniques if you catch them all at the right distance. I don't think I did it right. There we go. And then you run into a problem there, so it's a tricky corridor. You saw there were a lot of enemies in that tight corridor there. But there is a jump and slash sequence that lets your magic meter fill up. Get those 3, jump at the chest, jump as you get close to that guy. I want to get that lizard man before... I definitely want that lizard man to get hit by the magic component of my sword and not by my sword. And that's the problem I'm running into there. So, you know, feel free to find a rhythm that works for you. You could incorporate a special technique or 2 as you go. The challenge there is the bear. You need to have your magic meter primed for that 3rd slash, so that the magic component of your sword slash kills that bear. don't get your magic bar filled, then it won't kill it, and you're basically guaranteed to either get hit or have to use a special technique to kill it. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. And there, so you can probably just use a special technique. If you just use one, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, floor 49, so next to last boss. King Chimera. So it's another Chimera, again. Behaves very similarly to the Chimera on floor 12, except that now there are spikes all over the place. You have this middle platform, and then you have a series of little ledges here with spikes in between, as you can see here. It's a big floor. Here's the door at the end, but you do have to kill the Chimera to get to it. Yeah. Nice jump. It's a good jump. So you can see, this is a pretty big floor. There's lots and lots of ledges, and there's treasure chests out here, and then there's spikes with treasure chests out there too. So, lots going on here. The important part, if you go back and think about one of the things we talked about with permanent items in the tutorial, we picked up the Power Stone on floor 47. It was with us for floor 48, and now it's gone. There's nothing there in our little item box down there. That's because permanent items go into your item slot, and they last for the floor you pick them up, plus one more floor, and that's it. So they're only there for 2 floors, so you lose the Power Stone right before you have to fight a boss. The good news is, there's a Power Stone here, and it's very accessible. It is fixed in the treasure chest on the first platform to your right. So there are a couple things that are going to happen here. You want to go and get it, and then also for, if you position yourself just right, which I either didn't do, or I either did not position myself right, or it's another like little game saver hiccup here. You can jump over to that ledge and then position yourself on the ledge in such a way that your distance to the Chimera essentially prevents him from jumping toward you right away. It's a little bit tricky to do, but essentially you're trying to avoid that. And now again, because you have the Power Stone, you don't want any melee range attacks at all. You want the orange laser to hit him, because that's really the only thing that does any significant damage to the King Chimera. You use special techniques as needed, so that you can kind of walk into him and clean up the mess. And then when these coins spawn, depending on where they spawn, you could pick them up to make that sprite animation go a little bit faster. Or you could just kind of jump over toward the door. The moment I go and stand in front of the door, those fairies are going to open it and we're going to move on. But I need to show you all the special hidden stuff in this floor. There's some hidden stuff, there's some not so hidden stuff. First thing you need to know is that as soon as the fanfare is done playing, the spikes don't hurt anymore. So as you may have noticed as I was giving the grand tour before, there were spikes over here and a treasure chest in here. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to get there? This is how. So, the important thing to note is you're going to leverage point-based fairies if you need these backups right here. There's a lot of points to be had in this floor right now. And they will trigger a whole bunch of fairies on floor 50 for you. So first you get a new shield, which is worth 40,000 points. A big coin for 8 grand, not really that big a deal. Scissors. Scissors kill your ally, but give you 80,000 points in exchange. And there's a hidden chest right down here, which is a diamond, which is 1 million points. Now again, you get a fairy every 300,000 points, which means that that diamond by itself is good for 3 fairies. Your first 3 successful actions on floor 50. will give you fairies. And then there's this 80,000 point sapphire that was up here, 2 ledges from the exit. So again, so now we have 1.3 million points. We're going to get 4 fairies on floor 50. So I will show you this. I'll go back and do the King Chimera fight again in a sec. But we'll go on to floor 50 so that you can see what I mean. Because it's not... You have to perform an action. You can't just... I don't think it's just slashing the air. I think you actually have to hit something. So if I slash, yeah, nothing happens. But there is an enemy right over here. If I kill him, then a fairy spawns. And if I kill him, then a fairy spawns. If I kill him, then a fairy spawns. And if I kill him, then a fairy spawns. So there's 4 fairies. So again, tons and tons of food. And now there are treasure chests here. Some have items, some have traps. You don't want any of them. Ideally, you want to avoid all of them because you have the Power Stone and you want to keep it. Like, the goal in here is to go fast without screwing up and losing the Power Stone. But at any rate, before we get back into that, we're going to come back to floor 49. And I'm going to see if there's any way I can convince the King Chimera to not jump in this first cycle. It would be really great if he could just stay put for a sec. He probably won't, but that's okay. This one too early. That was a waste. They jumped, they didn't have to jump. So it's one of those situations where if you kill him and he's to your right on the way to the door, you can pick up enough coins to not slow down the animation. But I've encountered this sort of thing before, because the Gold Dragon and the Hydra also do the swoop animation sometimes. If you're at just a specific distance away from him that you want to try to not be. I don't know the exact specifics of it, but swooping loses a lot of time. That's pretty good. Now in this case, if we killed him to our left, we're just going to jump toward the door. I mean, you did see we stuttered a little bit, but that's okay. Hey, what's going on, Ace? Yeah, I did a Super 16 tutorial yesterday because Magic Sword was picked for the Super 16 SNES race in December. But that tutorial, the category, as it were, or the goal to get through it is just to kill the space worms. So I did a tutorial last night through the space worms. I wanted to do another tutorial now just to kind of walk through the rest of the game. So anyway, here we are on floor 50. It's probably gonna take me a couple tries to remember the movement tech to do this smoothly without getting hit or changing my item. Yeah, that's not right. Bear with me here. I'll get it. There's a lot of specifically timed jumps and whatnot. Because again, this is based on the basic mechanic that, it's too slow. The basic premise that this game, akin to games like Ninja Gaiden, where if you stand and slash your sword, your momentum stops. It is therefore faster to jump and slash because it does not kill your forward momentum. So there's a really smooth, slick tech series of jumping slashes. That's not right. I mean, I didn't get hit, but it's still not right. Meh. Before we get to that fight, let's see if I can get this movement tech right again. I don't want to have to pull up my PB to compare, to cross-reference. I feel like I should be able to get it right. I think I'm supposed to jump over a grunt at one point, and I'm just not doing it. Maybe not. I may have to actually look this up. That's kind of frustrating. Let me see. Let me look it up real quick. I honestly thought it would come back to me, and it's just not. So let's see. Not too far forward. So I do jump over an enemy at one point. So low, high, low. Let's see here. Low, high, low. Ooh. Wow, I didn't actually expect to kill him standing still. I thought he'd be too high for me. It's okay though. We'll get there. Low, high, low. I might have to walk up closer to him. It might be a pretty tight jump here. We're getting closer here. I think that after I jump over him, it's an immediate follow-up jump. At the end of that next pillar. The timing here is really tight, but it looks really slick when you get it right. There. That's it. That was it right there. That was pretty nice. That's the jump tech that we're looking for. So this is Drakmar, our last boss. He is almost completely random. So now is the time where you need to think about your health and enjoy the really funky music here. When I mean think about your health, I mean that the fastest way to kill him is to alternate 1-for-1 special attacks and your orange beamed sword slash. Now every time you use a special attack, your orange beam is effectively primed, and you could fire off like 3 of them in succession. Not rapid succession, you need to give him a chance for iframes and stuff. But, you know, you go 1, 2, 3, and then use another special and you'll stay in iframes. That's a slightly slower strat than just alternating between sword slashes and specials. But every special costs a bar of health, so you have to think to yourself, how much health do I have left? So I've got 7.5 bars on screen. The chest that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen has a chicken in it, so that's 3 bars of health, so I effectively have 10.5. And then I also have, I think I have 2 continues left. I think I only used 1 on floor 43. That's another 20. And I mean, again, this is the end, so you burn everything. Burn it all down. So the goal here, this means I have like 30.5 bars of health. And if you have 25 or more, then you have enough to comfortably just toggle between special techniques and sword slashes repeatedly. He may also, you know, misbehave essentially and not kill you because you can't kill yourself, but you can get yourself down to 0 health and then you can't use special techniques anymore. But when you are at 0 health, it's kind of like a critical state, and your magic meter just primes super duper fast, so you can just keep lighting them up with those orange beams until you die. So here will be an example here. So I'm gonna walk over here, I'm gonna special instead of doing a sword slash. So here he's trolling me a little bit there, because if your melee attack always is more, it gets first priority over the orange beam. So like right here, complete troll, he's just hovering above me. But you can see here, I'm just kind of chilling in iframes. Alright, I'm going to reload here, because I don't remember if I'm allowed to reload. I don't know if I lose the capability of the select button the moment I kill him, or what, and I don't want to have to sit through everything right now, because I want to kind of go through this again. So we're going to try to nail the movement here again. Oh, I almost had it. I had that little stutter right there because I slashed too early, and I missed that floating skull. But that is basically the movement there. That again, same amount of health. He may not hover directly over top of me this time. If he hovers over you, you know, ideally you should just continue to use special techniques for the length of time that he's gonna hover over you, because if you just jump up and slash him with your sword, it's not gonna do as much damage. I'll try to get him to kill me there, so that I can get my magic back here. Or get my health back so that I can use special techniques again. So I'm just doing a jumping slash and then using a special. Jumping slash, using a special. As many times as it'll let me. And he was just trolling, hovering over me. Okay, cool. I can get out of it. Again, if he behaves and kind of stays on the other side of the screen so that your sword slashes, the magical component hits him and not the melee attack, then you'll maximize your damage output. And if you toggle between sword slashes and magic attack, or then special attacks, then you will... Did not jump high enough. It's okay, we'll try it again. Then you should kill him in about 45 seconds. That's about as fast as I've been able to manage it. And then you've got 36 seconds to think about the choice you want to make, because basically the game asks you whether or not you want to destroy the black orb that he has that contains all the evil in the world, or whether you want to take it and rule this land. I jumped too early again. Son of a beast thing. We'll get this, don't worry. I'm not worried. Are you worried? I'm not worried. Oh yeah, sorry, wasn't looking at chat. And I'm happy to elaborate on stuff. I just don't always have the time. The Super 16 being announced was a good impetus to do this, though. And I would love to encourage people to actually run the entire game. So I thought that I thought it would be a good thing to actually walk through the other half of the game, since it was only really the first 9 minutes that's being leveraged for the race. But I thought maybe I could kind of slow down and try to walk through some of the movement tech. So you see, if, like, I'm hitting him with jumping slashes there, but I'm only getting the melee component in, which is no good. And now that I'm out of health, I just keep jumping and slashing until he kills me. And sometimes it just works out like that. When you kill him, you want to walk over to the far left, because he will walk over to the far left to walk back into position for the ending sequence here. And then he's going to ask you whether you want to take the orb or destroy it. If you destroy it, you get the credits. If you take it, you get a game over screen, which is pretty funny. From my money, I think both count for the speedrun, because technically this selection is the last input. Because I'm streaming at 30 frames per second, you can't see that there's like a flickering red light over either of these decisions as I toggle back and forth. You just can't see it at all. It's pretty funny. So let me reload one more time. And this time I'm going to fight him on a more conservative basis for health purposes. We're not going to assume that I have 2 continues out there. We're going to try to maximize sword slashes. This goes back to the nature of all the other boss fights, where the special technique is not the end-all be-all. It's good for priming your magic meter and generating iframes and stuff. You click. It's good for priming your magic meter, it's good for generating iframes, but it doesn't really do all that much damage to the boss. Or it's at best comparable to the sword slash, but you can't do it as quickly and as fluidly as you can do the sword slash. So there we go. That's better. Oh yeah, no, I would definitely keep this card. It's a good one. Although I will say the Japanese version, it's a little bit faster because the text is faster. There's less text. It's like about 30 seconds worth of time save. Not that that is always a deal breaker. So you can see here that every time you do a special technique, you can get 3 orange beams off. Also, it's worth noting that if he hits you, because again, most of the run you're trying to not take damage from anything, so... But if he hits you, that kind of recharges your magic meter too. So we can get 3 shots off. It basically replaces the special technique as far as priming your magic meter is concerned. So there, I mean, we went through 10 bars of health, a bit more conservatively. And we were able to kill him and only use about 14 bars. I used 14 bars of health because I got hit a couple times, because when he freezes and decides to throw the fire and stuff and he's directly overhead, you really don't want that. So I deviated a little bit and jumped around. You don't really want to jump around. You kind of want to stay still. And the reason I'll say that, and that's probably worth just kind of chilling out there and maybe burning some more special techniques. and just kind of living with the decision, is because the other treasure chests in the boss room could have items that could replace the Power Stone. Like there was, in the left corner, there was a gauntlet, which I picked up after the fight, because that's where I needed to stand. But it would replace the Power Stone, so you don't want to jump around the room. You just kind of want to, when you go and get the chicken at the start of the fight, you want to make sure that your sword only clips that second chest. The first chest could be an item, it could also be a hazard, so that's, you know, no fun. I mean, what I end up doing is I end up using a... jump too early. I end up using a special technique to start my iframes process and to prime my magic meter for the initial sword slashes. And when you use a special technique, you still slash your sword, so it's the equivalent of a sword slash, but it also does the dual effect of all the nifty effects that come with your special technique, all the iframes and whatnot. But also gives you the benefit of the sword slash to open the chest. But you just want to open that second chest. You don't want to touch any of the other ones. So you want to kind of position yourself in such a way that you're facing Drakmar, but not overlapping with the first chest. So this is normally where I stand, right here. Again, he hit me there, so I get a refresh on my... Every time he hits me, I can get three slashes off before my magic meter runs out. And I keep getting hit, so I keep getting refreshes on my magic meter. Of course, he's also chilling out, like, right near me, too, which doesn't help. But that's okay. But yeah, when you continue, you'll get a screen flash. But don't confuse that with the benefit of your special attack. You only get one orange slash, and then your magic meter just tanks. So after you come in from a continue, you get one slash, and then you have to use a special technique to get yourself rocking and rolling again. But that's the Drakmar fight. It's pretty straightforward. You're just burning through all the health you had left over. If you can play it safe enough, again, he's really trolly and random. You could play it a little bit safer if you had a little more health. You could, if you had like 20 bars of health, you could do one special and then 2 slashes and then another special, and that should keep you in iframes the whole time, so that you only get hit when you want to get hit. Or you could try to do the 3 slashes, but then you will drop out of iframes, and so if he throws something at you, or is, oh hey, you can see the red this time. Now you can actually see the red on the selection. That's kind of cool. If I toggle, oh cool, okay, we just caught it, we're catching it on the right frame. So now you can actually see some toggling between the 2 choices. Like 2 slashes between each special, you can stay in iframes the whole time. If you do 3 between each special technique, you're going to burn through less health, so if you have less left, or like fewer continues left, you have a better chance of survival. But you have to be mindful as you prep yourself for that 3rd attack that you are vulnerable to being hit. And then if you have tons of health, you just toggle between your sword slash and your special technique, and you should be able to burn him down in about 45 seconds or so. So, let's do the bad ending. The bad ending where you decide to take the black orb. So you take it, and then instead of being the big hero that saves everybody, you turn into Drakmar. Which is pretty funny. And then you get a game over screen. No credits. No nothing. Just game over. So now let's kill him one more time, we'll do the good ending, because I like the music at the end. Although I've heard mixed results from people about how they feel about the music in the ending credits, but I like it, and that's all that matters. It's my tutorial. I'll do what I want. That's gotta be a high jump. I'm doing the high jump on the one that I don't need it for, and I'm forgetting to do the high jump on the one I do need it for. We'll get there. That's just bad. That was just bad, bad, bad. We can do better than that. It's almost time for bed for me. That's good. That torch jump. Alright. We in there now. Super smooth, and it's a good clear path where you don't stop. You don't stop moving. The Power Stone is just so strong. You have a good amount of time between each sword slash, so you get the good orange beam. It helps you navigate that whirlwind of enemies without taking any damage or stopping. It's brilliant. So you can see this is like the super slow conservative approach of 3 slashes and then a special. And he's behaved pretty well. Oh yeah, that could totally hit you. If your health is really low, you could totally kill him and then double KO and die and game over. I've done that before. It's really awesome. So yeah, so the good thing is there's enough consistency in spawns in this game that with work, and not a tremendous amount of work, but if you put the practice into the individual floors for some of the harder floors, it's not unheard of to get, like, you should be able to get sub 23 with, you know, again, you put in your time, but I think sub 23 is not that difficult to pull off if you're willing to grind it out for a little bit. Like, a lot of the floors just require memorization, and that's it. You know, memorization, there is technique, obviously, but, you know, it's not... The technique in this game, it feels like there's a lot of leeway. And there's a little bit of flexibility in whether or not you want to just, like, burn everything on the screen to the ground with a special technique, because you're used to having a little bit of extra health at that point. Or what, and you give up a couple seconds here and there to smooth out the run a little bit. But I would love it if people picked up this game, because I think you could probably see a lot of sub 23s show up with just putting a little bit of time in. It's a fun game and I really like it. So here's the good ending. And all the music from here on out, it's just funky. In a good way. Something, something, light shall rule. And now we go back to the village in floor 0. And oddly, they show you what the game would be like if it magically didn't lag when you had an ally. Although it totally lags whenever you have an ally. Like, these screens are lying to you. It doesn't play that smooth. Oh. So yeah, so that's the second half of Magic Sword. So with the two tutorials combined, you know, working on the basics and working on basic techniques and strategies for positioning and movement with the first tutorial to help you get through the Space Worms. From there, it's just like kind of just a bit of repetition. You know, there isn't new tech to learn, and really the only thing that isn't covered in here is what happens when you get the gauntlet for the Hydra. Which is the one major reset point when you get down to really fine-tuning your times for low PBs. Yeah, Magic Sword.